Hi guys, welcome back to Orchid 101. Today we're going to go ahead and take a tour through all of my orchids, and I'm just going to kind of show you what every one of them is doing one by one, and I'm going to show you the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, and just kind of give you a quick tour, or as quick as I can, to show you what each one of them is doing and everything that's going on with all of them. So we're going to try to do this as quick as we can and with as least interruption as we can. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So bear with me. My phone is, the camera's just acting a little bit odd with the lighting. Let's see if it'll look better like this. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start right here. And this is a Phalaenopsis. And it's a no ID Phalaenopsis. So this Phalaenopsis is actually doing pretty well. It has not been repotted in quite a while. It actually has some cracking in its leaves here from when it was really, really cold a few weeks back. But this Phalaenopsis is actually, it had the spike is regrown from from the first spike, so it had a secondary spike, and then recently the secondary spike is getting another spike, so it has like a triple spike, and it has buds. So I'm really excited to see this one bloom. It is going to be a white Phalaenopsis, obviously. So I'm just really excited to see what this one is going to bloom into, and I'm really excited to see this spike come into play. So I'm very excited for that one. This one is not really doing much. I had this one sitting in my office for quite some time at work. I recently brought it home because I switched offices, but this is another no ID Phalaenopsis, but it has been in bloom since December. So I'm actually very happy that it has been in bloom for so long, and it still has quite a few blooms, as you guys can see here. And if you guys can see right in there, it has a new growth of leaf, a new leaf growing. So it does have some new growth going on, as you guys can see. So I'm really excited about that one. It still looks really, really nice and really healthy. This one is, again, another no ID Phalaenopsis. It does have new leaves growing right here. This one is similar to that first one I showed you. It again, I went ahead and when it finished blooming, I went ahead and cut the spike, and then it started growing a secondary spike, as you guys can see right there, and then it has some buds and it will bloom in white. So really excited to see that one completely bloom. And then again, the new growth that it has going on right there. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I probably already did. So let's swing back over here to my Vanda. Of course, you guys all know Vandas are always my favorite. I love, 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 love Vandas. Oh my God, my dogs are just all over the place tonight. So this Vanda is in bloom. It has been for a while. This is the Royat Mong Wrath with a cross of, oh, this is one I'm gonna butcher. It has just such a weird long name, but I know it has a cross of Black Magic. So it's fairly small. It does have new growth right there. The leaf is growing right there. I recently draped some Spanish moss around all of my Vandas. I got a lot of, I belong to a lot of groups on Facebook for people who like orchids, and so I got a lot of people saying that Spanish moss was really good for the roots, and it holds moisture and things like that. And plus, I do like the look of it, so I did it for the aesthetics. But then I also went ahead and did it to hold moisture, especially now during the heat, the summer months. So we'll see how this one does once it finishes, once the blooms fall, and we'll see how fast it reblooms again. So that one's doing really good. This one has the most beautiful roots. I mean, as you guys can tell, it's just got like this huge mane looking thing of roots, but I bought it. The flowers look beautiful. Unfortunately, I bought it while I was at work. I went out to lunch and I went to Home Depot and I bought it and I left it in the car and I burnt it. It got the worst sunburn you can probably ever do to an orchid. So I'm pretty bummed about that. The bottom roots are doing okay, I guess. The top roots are the ones that got the worst sunburn. And then of course it had a bunch of buds, as you guys can see up there, but they burnt. Everything burnt, like the whole thing burnt. I burnt the spike, I burnt the leaves, I burnt the whole thing. The only thing I didn't burn was the roots. So the roots, as you can tell, are still green. I put the sphagnum moss on it, the Spanish moss on it recently, so I'm hoping that it will come back. I'm hoping the leaves will do something here soon. I don't know. I read that you should cut the leaves off if they start turning black, but I feel like if I cut all the leaves off on a Vanda, it's just gonna look horrid. So I don't want to cut the leaves off. I don't want to start cutting off just random black spots everywhere. So I'm just kind of letting it sit. I did spray it down with some peroxide. I put the Spanish moss on it. So I'm hoping that, you know, it'll just kind of recover from my horrible mistake and my bad decision of going orchid shopping during my lunch hour and leaving my orchid in the car. I didn't want to bring it into the office because I just felt like I don't know. I didn't want to bring it into the office. So I left it out in the car. I didn't think it was going to get that hot. So moving on, we have a lot to cover. This one has been in bloom for, wow, I think a while. Let me look at the tag. This is a Phalaenopsis philippinis, and it has been in bloom since December of 2020. And I love this orchid because I just feel like it has been in bloom for a long time. The flowers are huge. You can see it, like compared to my hand, the flower is almost the size of my hand. And it just continues to grow buds. So it stopped blooming for a while, and the spike has started to continue growing out, and now it's growing 3 new buds here. So I don't know when this thing is going to stop blooming. I don't know if it's possible for an orchid to just like bloom itself to death, but this orchid is just beautiful. And then its leaves are gigantic. This leaf here suffered a little bit of cracks from the cold weather. This leaf was a new growth like that one, but it's huge now. As you can tell, super huge, super healthy. Its trunk there is very nice and healthy. I haven't even repotted this. This is the media it came with from the store. I feel like it's just doing so well that I don't even want to touch it. So yeah, I love this orchid. It's just beautiful. So moving on to this little orchid here, again, similar to that big one. It was also, this one is No ID Phalaenopsis, and this one has been in bloom since January of this year. Not that long, but it stopped blooming for a while, and now it's growing some more blooms here, more, buds here. So this one just actually opened recently. This flower, it was a bud and it just recently opened. So I feel like that one is going to do the same thing as that big one, and it's just going to keep blooming. So, and then they're all like really dusty. It has like aerial roots here, like really healthy aerial roots. I haven't repotted this one either because it's still in bloom, and they're doing just so well that I don't want to disturb the blooms. So we're just gonna leave it like that until eventually the blooms fall. This one is one of my seedlings, the Vanda. This one is a what is it, a Fouche Gold with a cross of War Leopard. you guys can see it there. It's the little like maroon colored Vanda. So it's doing very well. I still have it in my basket here. Let's look at the roots. The roots are doing fairly healthy. It has actually grown some new growth in roots since I put it in this setup. So I'm actually very happy. I do water these every day with the sprayer. So very happy with that one. Let's go back up here. This is another Vanda that I put with the Spanish moss, but unfortunately I fried it again. So this is one of the other ugly bad things that I am not gonna hide from you guys. I fried it because I put it into that starter greenhouse that you guys probably all saw that I rated. I gave a product review on one of my videos. So I put it in that greenhouse along with 10 other orchids that I put in there just to test it out to start off. And since I have dogs and cats, I closed the greenhouse up because I didn't want the animals to get in it and, you know, destroy my orchids. And I left for the day, and I didn't think it was gonna get that hot, and I didn't think I was gonna be gone for that long. So I left for the day, and when I got back and opened up the greenhouse, the temperature inside was reading 116 degrees. Yeah. So I literally cooked my orchids to death. So I'm hoping there's still some green left on it, and the roots, they're dry right now because I haven't watered it today, but the leaves are kind of falling on their own. Oh no, this one just fell. So this makes me want to cry. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm like, can literally like rip the leaves off on my own. Let's see. Yeah, look, the leaves are like literally falling off of it. Oh no. Yep. Another one. Oh, that one just literally fell and I didn't even touch it. So I'm hoping, this is actually one of my favorites. This was the purple Vanda, the purple bluish one. This was my favorite one, and it looks horrendous now. In less than 5 seconds, I literally ripped off almost all its leaves. So yeah, I am hoping that I didn't completely kill it and that the roots will start some new growth. I don't know. I just want to cry. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Okay, let's move on to another one that I fried. I guess I can't get away from the fried orchids today. Same thing as the last one. I put it in the greenhouse. The sun completely cooked it. It fried. The leaves, some leaves fell off from down here already. These are still kind of sturdy. So I don't know. I'm still kind of praying for it to survive a little. So we'll see how it does. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna make it, so we'll see. All right, moving on to more happier thoughts. This is the John de Baez. This is one of the seedlings that I potted in the basket a while back. It has a new growth right there. You can't really see the roots because the basket is kind of covering everything, but it does have new growth and it is doing fairly well for the most part. And then right in front of it, I have, oh, where's the tag? Where's the tag to this one? Uh-oh. This one had a tag. I don't know where it went. Okay, well, we're gonna have to find her tag because that's gonna be a problem for me. Anyways, so this one is another seedling. It is doing fairly well as well. It has very healthy roots and is doing really, really nice. It's not doing, the seedlings are not doing much right now except just kind of growing and gaining stability and, you know, just growing roots everywhere. So you know, I'm just kind of happy that they're surviving and I'm not killing any more orchids except for the ones that I put in that greenhouse. This one down here is the Dendrobium. This one is a no ID Dendrobium. This is one I bought from the orchid nursery on one of my trips to Miami. It's not doing much. It's not doing anything at all. It's just really healthy and green, so I'm just really happy about it. It is their dormant season. You know, we do have some like new growth right here going on. So we do have new growth, you know, we do have something going on, but it's their dormant season. So they're not really going to be doing much right now. So I'm happy with this one. All right, now we're going to go to the next table, and I don't want you guys who are extreme orchid lovers like me to freak out or cry or write me hate comments, because you are definitely going to hate me after I show you what's going on with these. So yeah, I know. So let's start with this front one here. This is a Phalaenopsis, and if you guys saw my video, this is the Phalaenopsis that I was given to rescue. And it hurts my heart because I was entrusted with it to rescue it. And instead of rescuing it, I'm sorry, I killed it more. And I don't know if it's fully dead. I don't know if it's going to come back, to be honest with you guys. I don't know what it's doing. But this whole table of orchids here, I put in the greenhouse. Like I mentioned earlier, it was a total of 11 orchids. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 3 more down there. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Where's the other 2? 10 and 11 on the other tables back there. So I put all of these orchids in the greenhouse, and like the Vandas that I showed you guys earlier, I completely fried them because of the high temperature and for the long time that they were in there. So I've taken them out of the greenhouse now, and I'm not going to use the greenhouse for my orchids anymore. I decided that I'm going to use the greenhouse for other plants that I want to start growing. But here's what's going on with this one. This is that one orchid that I was entrusted to take care of. It's leaking this gooey thing now that I noticed today, actually right now, just a few seconds ago. I have no idea what it is right now. If anybody knows what it is, please let me know. I actually have to start doing some research on this because I don't know what it is. My orchid's crying, I guess. She's sad that I hurt her. But extreme sunburn. The new growth that she had is all completely mushy. The leaf is just all completely gone. Everything's mushy. So yeah. This what was this? Dendrobium Golden Twist. Also, the leaves at one point have started falling off on their own. It had some new growth up here that I completely fried off too. See, yep, just falling off on their own. Yep, just like hanging off by the thread. I don't think this is gonna survive, to be honest with you. I mean, the pseudobulbs are still green. They may grow new leaves. I don't know if I should just cut off all these old leaves and, yeah, see, like they're just falling off on their own. I don't know if I should just cut off all these old leaves and just leave it, you know, leave the pseudobulbs bare so that it could have some strength to grow new leaves. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I don't know. I don't even want to come near this table because I feel like I'm just gonna, I'm just hating myself right now. And then my 2 vanilla orchids, which I had been ecstatic when I got them, I fried those too. I don't know why I put my only vanilla orchids in there, but I completely fried it. I mean, the leaves are literally also falling off of it on their own. This one here, I mean, everything is just mushy. As soon as it got burned, it literally became detached from the trellis. The roots burnt. Everything burnt. Like, just everything. Even like the media looks burnt. I don't even know if I can explain that to you guys. I mean, the bottom ones are sort of okay. So I don't know if I should just repot this and maybe cut it at the spot where the burning started, and maybe it'll come back up. I don't know what I'm gonna do to it yet. I'm like so devastated. And the same thing with these down here. Again, this was another one that, you know, along with that top one, that was entrusted to me to save and to bring back to life. It had a spike and I burnt the spike. I didn't even know that burning a spike was possible, but apparently it is. So I burnt the spike. I burnt all the leaves. The leaves are now falling off, which I didn't know that it was doing that until just now. Oh, the roots. I mean, it still has a aerial root. Ugh. This one is the Sharon Frost Orange Red. This is that really pretty one that I really wanted to thrive, and I burned it. Some leaves are like all black. Some leaves are just the tip. Some leaves, I don't even know. This one back here, yep, same thing. All the leaves are falling off of it. I cut some leaves that, you know, were not too bad, just to kind of stop everything from spreading. But I don't know how to really fix them right now, so we'll see what they do. All right, sad moments over. Let's just move on. So going back to my seedlings here, this one is a Lata Gold, and this is a seedling that I put in here recently. The roots are doing really nicely, as you guys can all see. Yeah, so all of my seedlings, I'm kind of happy with them, except for a few, maybe like 3 of them that are doing kind of eh. So here's my seedling table, and all of these are doing really nice, which I'm super happy about. So as you can tell, they all have new growth everywhere. You know, so these are all thriving very well. Oh, this one didn't have this leaf yesterday. How exciting. This one's doing really well too. This one is just growing like crazy. I mean, just a few weeks ago, it was super small. And today, you know, this week is just been growing like crazy. So very excited with this whole entire table here. All of my seedlings seem to be thriving very nicely. Going up here to this Vanda, this one is the fuchsia, oh, I can't even read it. Fish Honest Moon with a cross of Escada Gua Shi Long. And this is the one that has the keiki. And then it had the spike with the orange flowers. And then it had that other spike that had the buds. Well, the buds have already bloomed, as you guys can see. And the blooms are now in yellow. So I am actually really loving this Vanda right now. It is just absolutely stunning. Really nice. And then this one here is one of my newest Vandas. Where's the tag, baby? Right here. This one is a Pink Rivers with a cross of Korat Koki. So this is a Vanda with a smaller flower, and it has a few more buds up there to still bloom. But this one is also doing very nicely. So I'm really excited. Then I have another Vanda down here. This is another seedling that is also doing really nicely with her roots. The roots here are actually really long. I have to water all of these today. And this one is the Vanda Britain Gold. Oh, this one down here is another sad one. This one is the other one that I put in the greenhouse. And yep, just like the other ones, all the leaves are fried. Everything's falling off of it. And as you can tell, all the leaves are just burnt. Pseudobulbs have turned yellow now. I don't know if it'll survive. I don't know. My mounted orchids are also doing really nice. They have a lot of new growth on them. As you guys can tell, this one has a spike. This Vanda down here has a lot of new growth. This one, oop, I got some spider webs. This one also has new growth, or I don't know if this is new growth or a spike. I can't tell yet, but it looks like something. The roots are doing really nice. So I'm really happy with all of this whole trunk here. Everything here is doing really nice. This double setup here with these two orchids, these have actually been in bloom for a while too. I potted these together in December because I remember doing it for my Christmas table. The only thing about these, and I made a video about this, is that this orchid here caught some botrytis because I accidentally started watering it during the winter with cold water, and it caught, you know, a little bit of a fungus. But other than that, it's doing really nicely. Some aerial roots started popping out here now. So the little one is doing also really nicely. Oh, look, the little one actually has some buds that I had not noticed. So it might keep blooming even though it still has blooms. And look, I didn't notice this either. It has a secondary spike. So yeah, this one might bloom again. Wow, I didn't notice all of that. Good thing I'm doing this video. When you have a lot of orchids and you work a full-time job, sometimes you don't have time to actually inspect your orchids like in full detail. So sometimes when you do your videos, it actually helps. So moving on to this one here, this is I think this is a no ID Phalaenopsis. Yeah, I have no ID on this one. So this one has also been in bloom for quite a while, and again, it is has some buds growing here, so it looks like it's going to keep on blooming. The leaves on it, it just keeps on having some new growth every single time. So I'm actually really happy with this one. Some aerial roots as well. So let me just move my cable here because I'm getting shorter. This one, I have it set up in a self-watering pot. It has been in bloom also for a while. A lot of these have been in bloom for a while for me. This one has been in bloom since December, and I repotted it in January. So it has been in bloom for a while. The spike looks like it's just continuing to grow as well. I don't see an end to it. It looks like there's some flowers that may be falling here probably soon. I do know that it has lost some flowers already, but for the most part, I think the spike is gonna keep growing. This one back here, again, has also been in bloom since December. It just recently started growing more buds as well, and it looks like it's just gonna keep blooming. It started dropping the back flowers down here, and now it's gonna keep blooming up here. So that's pretty cool. And the leaves again on this one are like super gigantic. I love the leaves on this one. Over here to my Cattleya table. This is obviously my favorite one right now. Look at how big this flower is. Like my hand. It's literally, you can't even see my hand behind it. That's how big it is. I love this Cattleya. It's just beautiful. I just purchased this one This one, and this one are brand new. They're all fragrant. They have like this mild, like perfume scent, flowery scent. So it smells beautiful. This one is also new. This one has 5 buds back here that is about to bloom. I can't wait to see what color it is. Super excited about this one. This one has 4 buds that is supposed to bloom. So excited about that one. This one is not new, but it is bloomed already. It had 2 buds and they're fully open. Also fragrant. I can't, you know, I hope they last as long as the Phalaenopsis have lasted, because these are super pretty. I love this. This is like my favorite table right here. So my almost dead orchids are over there and they make me sad, and then when I look over here I get happy again. So yeah, I'm happy right now. All right, moving on to this table right here. I know I have a thing about not buying dyed orchids, and I always tell people, please don't buy dyed orchids. I feel like it's orchid, how do you say it? Orchid cruelty. But I was gifted this orchid by a coworker, I'm sorry. And I promised her I would take care of her orchid as much as I could. So she gifted me this orchid. Even the leaves are blue. I didn't even notice them. So she gifted me the orchid and I brought it home and I have set it up over here. I mean, I kind of like the color, but I know that it's not real. And I know that this is a dyed orchid. So, you know, I know it won't last. But it is doing very nice. I mean, the leaves are fairly healthy for the most part. I didn't notice that in the back of them, it does have like a blue tint to them. But for the most part, it is a healthy orchid. Once the blooms fall, then it'll probably bloom white again, like the white ones that I showed you guys in the beginning here. Moving on over here. Oh, my cable doesn't reach anymore. Moving on over here. This is an orchid that I just purchased recently. It still has 1 bud left to open. It is doing pretty good. It has an aerial root back there. The leaves are pretty healthy and shiny, so I'm really happy with this one. Let's go back here. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm gonna try to zoom the camera in because I don't have a lot of extension cord left. This one is one that I stole from my brother's house because I felt like he was leaving it out to die. So I rescued it and I cut the spike. He had it in soil and I cut the spike, and now it has the secondary spike here, and it's now recently started to bud. So very excited with this one. It will bud, it will bloom here very, very, very soon. This one back here, this one here is also in bloom since I believe the same time as the other ones, December. And this may be more buds coming out, I'm not too sure. So yeah, it is also doing really healthy. We got some new growth down here for her, so doing very nicely with that one. Then I got this one back here. Oh my, this one is gonna be a hell of a show. So it had 2 spikes and I cut both of them, right? And now both spikes have 2 secondary spikes each. So this one has 1 down here and right here, and they both have started growing buds. And then this one has 1 right here and right here. So I'm gonna have 4 spikes and what looks like is gonna be a lot of buds. And this one is actually growing another spike right here. I don't know if you guys can see it right here and right here. So there's like just a bunch of spikes growing on this orchid. So when it's all done spiking, I can't wait to see how many buds it's gonna have and how many blooms it's gonna actually, you know, be able to survive off of it. So it's gonna be what I assume is gonna be quite a show. So we'll see how that one does. This one is also another rescue orchid. And the reason why I like this one is I've had this one for a long time. I think this was one of my first orchids. This one has been in bloom since October. And it's still in bloom. And it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blooms, and it's lost 3 of them and it stayed with 2. But now it has 3 more buds. So it's just gonna continue blooming on the same spike. So I'm really happy. And now it's growing like a new, I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't have any more cable to reach. It has a new leaf there. So it has new growth. So I'm happy about this one. I feel like I'm taking really good care of it after rescuing it from my coworker's windowsill. And then I have some mini ones back here. I have this mini one, which also has a few buds here to open. And then I have this mini one back here that also has a few buds here. And then this one back here is not really doing much. I'm not too sure why. So this one's not doing much. I did cut the spike off of it quite a while ago. But yeah, it's just not doing much. She just has, you know, the leaves are still healthy. I did repot her. It bloomed in December, but then the blooms, you know, fell off. It was a coral color, but she's not doing much now. So we'll just let her be and see if eventually she will bloom here in a while, in a little bit. So this is basically the side with all of the Phalaenopsis and the Cattleyas. So, and the Vandas, of course, because this is the only side of the lanai here that I can hang them. So we are going to go to the other side of the lanai, and I'm going to show you the rest of them. And then we are going to go ahead and do that real quick. We're 37 minutes in, so hopefully I can get that other side done real quick and we won't have such a long video. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I'm back. So we'll start off with this one. This is a Crimson Cattleya ruby lipped, and it started blooming in January, and it's starting to drop its blooms now. As you guys can tell, the blooms are a little droopy already. But for the most part, it's a beautiful, beautiful Cattleya. But yeah, it's time. Oh, there it goes. It's time for the blooms to go. So that spike, we'll just leave it there for now, but eventually she'll spike again, hopefully. And then we'll get back to my disaster here of the greenhouse where I put orchids in there to burn and die and suffer a miserable life. This one was one of those. So was its partner here. Jesus, I hate my life sometimes. Another Crimson Cattleya. This was the white one, and it was in bloom at one point, but it did drop its blooms. But yeah, I burned it. The pseudobulbs have, oh, there goes a leaf. And so these are all product of my mistake for my stupidity. So hopefully they won't completely die and they'll just, you know, regrow some new leaves, but for the most part I don't think so, but we'll see. This is my pride and joy right now, the Alicera Pacific Pastel Mauna Loa. I've done tons of videos on this one. I think I have 3 videos just on this orchid. It finally bloomed all of its buds. The show is spectacular. I did have some of the older flowers on here, and they already fell, but I suspect these are going to stay for a while. So it is doing really, really, really good. Moving on to my Dendrobium table here. Ooh, where to start? Okay, let's start back here. So which one's this one? This is a Dendrobium bigibbum violet. It started blooming in December and I repotted it in January. So this one is doing nice. The blooms are still nice and firm. They look pretty. For the most part, the leaves are nice. It hasn't started shedding its leaves yet, so this one's good. This one here is a Dendrobium Ayara Pink. This one I purchased it with buds, and all the buds have opened now, and it's pretty cool because they kind of open like side to side. So I kind of like it. It did have 2 buds up here that did not open, and it looks like the buds are just kind of falling off. So these 2 little buds here didn't make it. So that's okay, because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buds. This one back here is another Dendrobium bigibbum, I think. It was in bloom January of this year, but the blooms already fell. Some blooms last longer than others, which is okay, but this one's doing good. The leaves are still green, and I suspect it will still respike again. This one here is another Dendrobium bigibbum. It's dropping its blooms right now. It still has one back here that is pretty steady there. Then I have one over here, the same Dendrobium bigibbum that is really crooked in its pot there, but it only has one little bloom left, and it's had this one little bloom for the longest time, and it's dropped every single bloom since. So I don't want to get rid of this last little bloom yet because I feel bad for it, but it looks ugly with just one little bloom there. So we'll just leave it there until it decides to drop it. Then down here I have this one, which is kind of cool because it was such a little plant, and I put it in this tiny little pot because it was just so small, and I was like, oh, this is a perfect little pot for it. This is a mini Dendrobium. It's a no ID mini Dendrobium. It hasn't started blooming yet, but it is growing like crazy. So I don't see any spikes on it yet, but hopefully it will soon. This is my dancing lady. It dropped all of its flowers already, so I moved her down here with all the rest of my small plants. This is the Brassavola Little Star. It still has its one little flower here. This one back here in the little turtle is the Maxima Corolla with a cross of Walkeriana Corolla. I can't even pronounce these names sometimes. So this one is doing really nice too. I got some new growth right here. So yeah, they're all really doing really good. I'm happy with this one too, with this table. And then back here, I can't get close to it, but I have another seedling there, another Vanda seedling, and then the other 2 mounted orchids. This one here, I'm very devastated because it had a long spike, and I wanted to train the spike to start going, you know, in this up straight. So I put a spike, what do you call it? Like a skewer stick on it, and the next morning the spike was broken. I don't know if I caused that or if something bit it and it broke, or if the window, you know, the blinds here, because I do have blinds on my lanai to cover the sun, I don't know if those hit it or something. I don't know what caused it, but the spike is no longer there now. So I'm hoping that it will grow another spike. It does have a lot of healthy roots, just like that one, but now they don't have spikes. So hopefully it'll regrow. So let's come over here. This is my other table where orchids that are doing okay but not okay, but are, I keep the small orchids here that are doing okay, but I also keep the orchids here that need that special attention. So let's start with the ones that are doing okay. So this one's doing great. This is not one of my special need attention orchids. It has a lot of new growth. It is doing really, really, really nice. This is a Dendrobium pumpkin patch. It's going to be a copper and yellow color. So this one is doing really nice. It does not need any special attention from me at all. This one up here is one of my Maudi, and it actually just lost its flower. And I just cut the spike, I think 2 days ago. So that one's doing good. And I have another I can't say that a name, but another one of her cousins up here. And she still has a flower. So she's doing good. This is a why not? Aurantica with a cross of Sanguinea, and she's doing good. She did have more blooms, but she has started dropping them, so that's okay. So she has 2 left. This is my Christmas cheer, my Tunaguna Christmas cheer, and she is doing great up here. I put her up here because her blooms face down, and I just like watching, you know, I just like looking at the blooms, and it's easier for me to look them from up here than it is from one of those tables that sit down lower. So I put her up here. She's doing great. So now let's go to the ones that are not doing so hot. These are the seedlings that I had to put in these glass containers so that they can get photosynthesized, and hopefully that was going to start helping them. So this one, let's start off with this one, has started some new growth right here. The ones back here, they just kind of burnt out or turned brown. I don't know what happened, but the root system is fairly okay. So when I took these out of the pot originally, I thought, oh no, you know, they're completely dead. So that's it, you know, they're done. But when I saw the roots, I was like, wait, I think we still have a chance. So I put them in here in this type of setup to see if we can do something, you know, we can still save something. Same thing with this one, you know, the roots are still okay, and they're just kind of sitting, you know, they're not touching the water. If you can see, like, they're not really touching the water all that much. They're just kind of sitting right above it to get that humidity. So same thing here with this one. All the roots were really doing fine, so I just kind of just put them in this setup. Now the only one that's not a seedling in this whole pile is this one, and the reason why I put her here, now she's starting to grow a new leaf, which I'm super happy about, because this is like the first sign of survival that I see from her. But the reason why I put her in this type of setup and I took her out of her pot is because I did a video on her, which is on my channel, but she has no roots, or she had no roots. She had complete root rot. She had some severe stem rot, if you guys can see there. But now she started growing some roots there. And this week, I started noticing that she is growing a new leaf. So I'm super excited about that. I'm gonna keep her in this setup until her roots get a little bit more strong and she starts growing a little bit more roots. But for the most part, this setup is, you know, working for these right now, for these guys right now. I do have, you know, a monitor on it so I can see the temperature. It is supposed to get cold today, so hopefully it's not gonna affect them too much, but the humidity is still pretty good for these guys. So there you have it. This is my orchid collection. Oh, wait, I missed one. Psych, I'm not done. This is my Escata Pakshon Gold with a cross of Quiltana Magenta. And this is one of the newest Vandas also that I purchased. It's doing really nice. It has blooms and it looks like it is starting to bloom now. They're starting to open. So this one's gonna be really, really nice as well. So it has a lot of buds. I can't wait to see what it looks like fully open. So this is the last one. This is my complete orchid collection. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Never mind. I'm just kidding. I think I missed one. I always miss this one. I even forget to fertilize her sometimes because she's just in the corner. Poor baby. Never put baby in the corner. This is a no ID Phalaenopsis, and she also suffered some cracks on her leaves from the cold weather. But for the most part, she's doing really well too. She's pretty sturdy in the pot. She has some secondary spikes growing here now from both these nodes. You guys can see right there. So I'm really happy with her as well. She still has 3 beautiful flowers on her spike. This one's maybe falling off pretty soon. So that is my last one, I promise. So there you guys have it. That's my entire orchid collection. I went through a total of 85 orchids with you guys. I think so. So thank you so much for watching this with me today, or for going through with this with me today. I know it's long, I know it's a lot, but I just felt like I had to you know, take you guys on a tour, because I'm always talking about all of the orchids, but I never showed you guys exactly how I keep them, where I keep them. And you know, I wanted to give you guys a full you know, picture of what they're all going through. So again, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video today, and follow us on Facebook. We do have a Facebook group. So thank you again. Have a good night, and bye-bye.